Hello.
Hello.
Can you tell me about yourself?
My name's Kaylin. I'm 22. I'm from Columbus, Indiana, and I have 5 cats.
Okay. What do you consider to be your greatest strengths?
I consider my strengths to be communication with patients and with staff, working with a team, and assessing patient situation and reprioritizing.
Okay, that's a good one. What do you consider to be your areas of weakness?
I feel like some areas that I could improve would be learning how to perform efficiently under immense pressure and handle multiple critical patients at a time. Um, and just improving in confidence. But as a new grad, I feel like that's an area that I can still grow in.
Yes, many people grow confidence over time. Tell me about a time in which you had to handle an irate coworker, patient, or classmate, and how did you handle the situation and what was the result?
So recently I had a patient in my capstone experience in the ER that was had admitted to taking methamphetamines. Um, the patient was very irate, and so in order to handle that situation, we tried to cluster our care so that we were not disturbing him multiple times in a row, and also trying to just maintain a calm environment, even though the patient was being irate, making sure that we were keeping it together and being professional in that situation definitely helped. We got the patient the medication that he needed, and then once he woke up a few hours later, the situation was much better.
Okay. What have you done in past situations to contribute towards a teamwork environment?
My capstone experience was in the ER, and I feel like in at least in that emergency department, everything is in a team. Um, Whenever a patient comes in, we triage together to assess. We assist each other in drawing labs or getting IV access. And in those critical situations, when you have many patients at once that need a lot of things done in a very timely manner, it's really important to be able to work together as a team effectively and also efficiently. And I believe that that's something that I learned from that experience.
Sounds like teamwork is definitely one of your strengths. Tell me about a time when you were especially creative in solving a problem.
I feel like being in an uncomfortable situation in the ER, I realized pretty quickly on that I didn't fit there, and that is not the area of nursing that I want to focus on. But I didn't have any other choice but to be there, so I had to kind of make it work. And I did that by asking for help when I needed it, asking questions, and really focusing on how the other nurses in that area worked and how they made it work for them. So I kind of had to use, asking questions and observation, and then just being present in the situation in order to solve the problem. Because at first I really didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
Okay. Why do you believe you would be the right person for this position?
I believe I would be the right person for this position because I'm very passionate about nursing. I feel confident in my knowledge, and I feel like the confidence in my skills has a lot of room to grow. I feel like I'm very adaptable and I work well in a team, and I'm excited to continue to learn.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Your turn, Abby.
So I'm muting myself now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I asking or am I?
I'm asking you.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me about yourself.
My name is Abby Bill. I grew up in a small farm town. I grew up raising cattle, showing them in 4-H. So I learned a lot of life skills from that, which kind of led over to me wanting to be a nurse. I held a lot of leadership positions as a 4-H member, which kind of led over to in college me holding leadership positions. And now I hold a leadership position for our graduating class.
What do you consider to be your greatest strengths?
I would say nursing school has definitely taught me a lot about time management. Um, it was a very big adjustment from just doing your core classes to going into nursing school. I learned how to prioritize patients also as a tech in the PCU ICU. It was super important that in that specific job that you got your Foley care done before other people got their baths. So prioritizing patients was a huge thing in that job that I have learned.
What other things do you believe that you learned in the PCU ICU that led over to this position?
Yeah, so it was a super fast-paced environment. Like some days we didn't sit down until 4 or 5. So I learned how to work in that fast-paced environment, which was a very big difference from just being a nursing student who had one patient to going to having 9 patients you had to take care of.
Okay. Sometimes it can be really frustrating when trying to get information from people so you can solve a problem. Please describe a situation that you have had and what did you do to get information that you needed?
I personally think that clear communication in these situations is super important. Specifically, there was a time I remember I got a job and the manager wasn't super clear on the instructions of like trying to get your onboarding done. And so I just called her and I just told her like I was confused about it and made sure that my communication to her was clear. And then when I had questions, I made sure I asked her about what to do.
Okay. Tell me about a time when you made a major sacrifice to achieve a work goal.
During when I was a tech, I had to sit a patient for 12 hours. She came in with a UTI and she was severely confused. We all knew it wasn't her baseline, but for whatever reason, she was super attached to me. I don't know if I reminded her of someone else, but I stayed for my whole 12-hour shift sitting with her. And they called another tech in to work for the floor. And then the next tech that was going to come in and sit couldn't get there for 4 hours after my shift ended. So I decided to stay over and stay with that patient. So someone else that she didn't know wasn't going to come in and kind of increase her confusion.
Okay. How do you think that impacted that patient? Like, how do you why did you make the decision to stay after?
Yeah, so actually the next day when I came in, she had 2, I think, rounds of antibiotics. And so she didn't necessarily know who I was, but a lot of the nurses had told her that, hey, this girl sat with you. Do you remember her? Trying to figure out what she remembered. And when I came in the room the next morning, she was like, oh my gosh, I don't really remember you, but I kind of do. And it was just super heartwarming to feel that like I did make an impact on that patient, which kind of makes me have a love for nursing even more than I did before that.
Why do you believe you would be the right person for this job?
All throughout nursing school, I've been super eager to learn. I feel like in the beginning of nursing school, obviously we've all grown, but in the past year specifically, I've grown. And I think this position, not only will I help the staff, but it will also help me grow as a nurse. And like I said before, I love fast-paced environments. And I feel like this is very fast-paced, on your toes, and I have a lot of experience with that.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Hi, can you just go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so I'm Julia. I am from Milan, Indiana, which is a small little farm town. I am graduating from Ball State in July, at the end of July. And I finished the program in 3 years.
That's so exciting to be graduating. I'm sure you're ready to be done.
Yes, definitely.
What would you consider your greatest strengths?
My strengths are that I'm very motivated and a hard worker. I just completed my nursing program in 3 years because I took 2 semesters in the summer, which is accelerated and more fast paced so that I could finish earlier and start working.
Okay, and then with strengths, there's always weaknesses. What would you say your weakness is?
I feel like I'm definitely a perfectionist. So sometimes with that, it takes me longer to complete tasks. However, like once I get the task down, I complete them in a more timely manner.
Okay, and then nursing, you always have difficult patients. How have you been able to manage a stressful situation or a difficult patient in the past?
I had a patient one time that had a substance abuse disorder, and they would come in repeatedly and want pain medications. So we would just educate them on why we couldn't give them pain medications, and they would usually end up leaving against medical advice. But just educating them, talking them through it, and keeping the situation calm.
Mhm. And then can you tell me about a time that you had to rely on a team to get some tasks accomplished?
Yeah, so I was in the emergency department for a lot of my clinicals, and the emergency department is very hectic and fast paced. So a lot of times you can't get all the tasks done yourself. So just having a team and giving certain tasks to someone else and then me completing something gets it done faster.
And can you tell me about a time when you were using effectiveness in your problem solving ability?
Um, yeah, so I was with a resource nurse for my capstone, and that meant that we were on different units every time. So it was a problem when I didn't know how that unit worked. So quickly learning how the unit worked, asking questions, and being willing to accept advice.
Okay. And why do you believe that you are the right person for this position?
I would say that I am a hard worker and I'm willing to accept help when necessary. I'm willing to ask questions, but I also feel as if I'm a quick learner and I thrive in a fast paced environment. So I think that I would add a lot to this unit.
All right. Thank you.